Good morning, students. In the previous class, we learnt about electric motor, right? Later on, we learnt about electromagnetic induction, that is EMI. In today's class, we are learning about electric generator. So, without confusion, you should remember what we are learning. This is electric generator, and what we learnt in the previous class, that is electric motor. So, here we are getting two types of terms, that is electric generator and electric motor. So first of all, we should concentrate what is the difference in principle. So in a similar manner how we learnt in the electric motor, we are also studying for electric generator. There is a principle, next it's labeled diagram, next construction part, later on working. And here it is working based on electromagnetic induction, that is EMI. Okay, so let us start electric generator. So we will start with principle. Principle of electric generator is, just recall simultaneously what we learned in electric motor. So it is also an rotating device, but here it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. I will repeat again. Electric generator is a device, that is rotating device, which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Now what we learnt in electric motor? It is an rotating device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So this is the difference between principle of generator and motor. Here the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. Mechanical energy into electrical energy, and it works based on electromagnetic induction principle. So this, all the three terms should be there in your principle. So after the principle, what we have? A neat label diagram. So here it is almost similar to electric motor only, but here we have two difference. So let us see what is that. Look at the labeled diagram of electric generator. So it's almost similar to the electric motor only. So here we have rectangular insulated copper coil, which is named as ABCD, and it is placed between two poles of permanent magnets. And here we have the terminals of rectangular coil is connected to ring 1 and ring 2. So that is, here we have axle. So this is a long rod, it is called as axle. On that we have two rings, namely R1 and R2. So the one terminal is connected to R1 and another terminal of a rectangular coil is connected to R2. So next, these rings are insulated from inside. Okay. So next is, from the outside of these rings are connected to stationary brushes. So stationary brushes are connected on ring 1 and ring 2. So hence these stationary brushes B1 and B2 are complete the circuit by connecting with galvanometer. And here what is the role of galvanometer? What I told, it works based on electromagnetic induction principle, and here this galvanometer shows the direction of induced current, right? And here this axle is connected to ring 1 and ring 2. That means if the axle mechanically started to rotate, that means then the coil will also started to rotate. So here see, the mechanical energy converted into electrical energy from any other source, from outside source. When this when this axle started to rotate, the coil will also started to rotate. So this is a diagram. At the simultaneously I explained how the construction part is done. So here, after writing this diagram, usually how they will ask means, usually they will ask only for 2 marks, the diagrams, okay. So first you should draw the diagram, then they will ask, show the stationary brushes are 2 rings. Then you should show these are the rings and these are the brushes by writing separately. Otherwise you should name everything, that is A, B, C, D is a rectangular coil. Next B1, B2 is a stationary brushes, and next one is R1 and R2. R1 and R2 is a rings, and here we have galvanometer. So this is comes in a working part. Now let us see what happens in the construction part. So in the construction part it is important because we are going to learn two more new terms under this electric generator. So students, when it comes to working part of electric generator, it is also as usual. See, if this is our coil ABCD, what happens when the axle starts to rotate? When axle starts to rotate, the coil is connected to this axle with the help of rings. So when this axle started to rotate mechanically, the coil will also started to rotate. That means this is a coil. What happens after rotation? AB will come up and CD will be down. And after another rotation, what happens? CD will be upwards and AB will be downwards. So here we understood after each rotation, the coil will be moving up and down with a one circular interval, right? So when this happens, it results in the induced current, and here we need to know what is the direction of induced current. So as I told, induced current after EMI. So after EMI, what we learn? Fleming's right hand rule, right? Fleming's right hand rule. So here, take your right hander. When we look at the same diagram in a horizontal way, this is already, we know that magnetic field direction is from north to south. So here, this indicates magnetic field and this indicates induced current. So if this is the magnetic field and here the middle finger showing upwards, that means induced current is in this way, right? So induced current in this way, and from this we can say that the current is flowing from over here. We have brushes. See, brushes are connected to ring 1 and ring 2, and then it is connected to galvanometer. So from this we can say that current is flowing from what? From B1 to B2, right? So current is flowing from B1 to B2. So here what happens? Later on, the current, the direction of induced current looks like this. And here again observe what I told. After each interval of rotation, the coils will be, one is coming upwards and another will be downwards, right? So what happens? As a result of this process, induced current, that is the direction of induced current, will be different in each cases for AB and CD. That means when it is upward, the induced current will be, see here, for AB it will be upwards, for CD it will be downwards. So the rotation, due to this rotation, the off rotation or one complete rotation, the induced current, the direction of induced current will be different for each side. Okay, now we understood about this induced current. So here, if we concentrate again, we can observe one more point, that as the rotation takes place each of an interval, the current will be producing in different way in each rotations. Let me repeat. Now we know that current flows from B1 to B2. Thus, after every off rotation, the polarity of current will be changing. The polarity of current will be changing with respect to respective arms, that is AB and CD. Now here we understood this change in current in every half interval of a rotation, or in every half interval there will be change in current, and this process is called as AC, that is alternate current. Alternate current. So I repeat again, what is alternate current? Alternate current is which changes direction after every equal of time. So I repeat again, you should remember, because they won't ask only what is electric generator. As I told you, here we are learning two new more subtopics, that is alternative current. Next we have one more, DC, that is direct current. So here with these two rings R1 and R2, we are studying alternative current. Alternate current, see, alternative current is nothing but the current which changes its direction after equal interval of time. So here we can observe the current will be changing after equal interval of its rotation, that is with respect to each arm. So here we are producing alternative current. So whatever we have written the diagram on the board now, this diagram will represent for, if they ask write the label diagram for electric generator, you should write the same one. If they ask write the label diagram for alternate current, you should write the same diagram. But here I don't have one more term, that is direct current. So here what I told, which changes direction after equal interval of time, that is called as AC. But when it comes to DC, which does not change the current, which does not change its direction after or any interval of time, is called as direct current. For that we should modify a diagram little bit, that is instead of taking R1 and R2, the diagram here is almost similar to electric motor, that is instead of two rings here we should take, instead of two rings here we should take a commutator, which one we used in electric motor, that is split ring. So here we should take split ring. So instead of two rings here we are taking one ring. So here also we will be having V1, V2. Now I will tell the process how unidirectional current will produced, and that unidirectional current is nothing but direct current. So here if they ask write direct current generator, then you should write the diagram which I will write now. Okay. In case if they ask just write the electric generator, means the diagram which was before, you should write that one, and the same thing for alternate generator. But if they ask for direct current, it is similar to electric motor. So when we look at the question paper, usually we observe DC, that is direct current generator. So you should be aware to write the diagram, which one to draw for which motor or generator. Okay. In direct current, so we are using split ring which acts as a commutator, and we know what is commutator in electric motor only. So here the connection should be done in such a way that a coil terminal, which is always moves upward, should be connected to brush 1, and the one which will always move to downwards, that is connected to brush 2. So when the connection is done like this, what happens? The current will flow only in unidirectional, and this type of device is called as electric DC generator. Okay, so here you should rub those two split rings, sorry, those two rings, and you should write one split ring, and you should draw the connection. So both the terminals should be connected to one V1 and another one V2. So here if they ask to write only about DC, what you will write? Here instead of two rings, a split ring is connected on an axle. On that, brush 1 and brush 2 are connected. So brush 1 is connected to the arm which will move only upwards, and brush 2 is connected to the arm which will move downwards. In this type of connection, will get only unidirectional flow of current, and hence this is called as direct current. Now you understood both AC and DC. So here let us look quickly. So first, today we started to learn about electric generator. So in this electric generator, first we understood about principle, next we saw the label diagram, then we came to know about construction, then working part. In working part, we saw AC and DC. So this is all about electric generator. Now next we will take only AC and DC, and let us know what are the disadvantages or advantages and what is AC and what is DC. So they may ask you to write the characteristics of AC or DC, or else they will ask you to differentiate between AC and DC. So let's start to know about alternate current and direct current. When it comes to difference, first we can state their definition only. So here in AC, current which reverses its direction periodically. So we know that current will be changing in every interval of rotation. But what happens in DC? It does not reverse its direction periodically, or else we can say it's a unidirectional flow of current. Right, that is in DC. Now what happens, the second point, this is only the first definition, next we will directly can go to advantages or disadvantages. But in AC, in alternating current, we have one extra information, that is in each country on basis of their source or anything, they will have their own range for alternative current. So they will have their own range. So now let us see what was the range in our country. Okay, so for that we have some mathematical formula, and the alternative current will always mention with unit hertz. That is in frequency they will mention, and the SI unit of frequency is hertz. Okay, so here in India, the alternative current, the reversing of this alternative current will take place 1 by 100 in every second, or as we can say in each fraction of second. Now this is 1 by 100, which in a half a rotation. So let us consider wave diagram. So if this is wave, so let us assume this is our first off rotation and this is our next off rotation. So including these two, we'll get one complete rotation. Now this is 1 by 100 and this is another 1 by 100. Okay. Now to calculate time period is nothing but half rotation plus another half rotation, that is overall reversing of this current in one rotation. That means we have off rotation is not 1 by 100 and next is 1 by 100, right? So this is time period. So what we will get? So we will get 1 by 50 here. So next step is we need to calculate frequency. Let me write here. Frequency. The formula to calculate frequency is 1 by time period. 1 by time period, and here we know what is our time period. That is 1 by 50. So if we take 1 by 50 here, what happens next step is 50 by 1. That is frequency is 50 hertz. So in our country, the range of alternative current is 50 hertz in 1 second. So this is just an extra information. So just remember this part, the frequency, that is 50 hertz. So that is in each second we will see frequency of 50 hertz. For example, if you want to check this one, take any of your device or observe any of your electrical device in your home, and in the background they will give the description, right? If you observe, they are given that in the frequency or in the hertz, that means there we are using alternate current. Okay, so by looking at these frequency or hertz, we can recognize this is alternate current. So next we have advantages, as I told. Next, what are the advantages are disadvantages. So here AC, its advantage is it can be transmitted over a long distance, only with a small amount of energy will be lost. So here this can be transmitted over a long distance with small amount of loss of energy. But what happens in DC? In direct current, it cannot be transmitted over a long distance. So if they transmitted, what happens? A large amount of energy they will gonna lose. So it can be easily transmitted and it cannot be transmitted. And this acts as an advantage. This is advantage, and here it will act as a disadvantage, right? And here the disadvantage is it cannot be stored. It cannot be stored. So this is the disadvantage of alternative current. Now this will act as an advantage in ADC. That means here it can be stored. What is that? Direct current can be stored. So here let me repeat. If they ask the difference or any properties related AC and DC, here the first point is definition and the next one is it can be transmitted and it cannot be transmitted. And here it cannot be stored and here it can be stored. And we have one more point, that is sources of AC and sources of DC. So the sources of AC, the first one is, that is nothing but AC generator. So other than the AC generator, we know we have number of power plants, right? Solar power plant, nuclear, thermal power plant, there are some tidal power plant, ocean thermal, and different types of power plants. We have bio power plant, biogas power plant, next wind power plant, right? So almost all the power plants are used to produce electricity. So there we will use this alternate current. So alternate current will use there. So the sources of AC, one is alternate current generator and another one is power plants. Okay. So when it comes to DC, that is direct current. So the sources are nothing but cell, battery, etc. So what we have in a phone, we have a battery which we will charge, right? That is nothing but direct current. So the sources are here cell, battery or any storage cells. So these are the important points when it comes to alternate current and direct current. So we are almost finished all the topics from magnetic effect of electric current. So let me recall quickly. So first we learned with the help of activities only, we learned many things. That is bar magnet, how magnetic field that is pattern will arrange, and what was the direction. Later on we learned different types of pattern of magnetic field lines with different types of conductors. So next in that only we learned Fleming's left hand rule, Fleming's right hand rule, next right hand thumb rule, and electromagnetic induction, electric motor and electric generator. So these are what are the different topics which we covered. So here when we come to the examination point of view, so they usually ask one or other question from electromagnetic induction, and one diagram is expected from this chapter. As I told, they may ask any one of the generator diagram or motor diagram, or else if they go for simple question, they will ask what are the characteristics of magnetic field lines, or else magnetic field lines and the direction of magnetic field lines in a bar magnet, or when it comes to the solenoid, what was the direction of magnetic field lines inside the bar magnet and outside the bar magnet. And electromagnetic induction, last class I solved one complete 4 marks question. So similar to that they will ask, if not they will pick here AC and DC. So almost we finished all the topics from magnetic effect of electric current. But here we have one last topic, that is, so the last topic of this chapter is domestic electric current. Here listen students. So we know that in this academic year some of the portions gonna delete. So when it comes to this chapter under physics part, this topics gonna completely remove. Which one? That is domestic electric circuit. But here there are chances of the question will arise. That is because, so what we will learn under this topic is live wire, neutral wire and earth wire. Apart from this, we will see what is overload, what is short circuit and what is fuse. So just recall the terms which I just mentioned now. We already learned all those things in detail in electricity chapter. So even though if they delete from this topic, the same question may gonna arise from the first chapter which we learned, that is electricity. So let us just recall what and all we learned under the electricity. Okay, so here they are removing this chapter, they are removing this topic, but the same topic portions we already covered in electricity chapter. So same thing we learn again here. So domestic electric circuit, it is nothing but when a circuit, that is when we know that how electricity wires will connect from transmission to poles, then poles to our home from the main boards, right? So in that process of connection, the wire will consist 3 wires, one electrical in each electrical circuit. In one set of wire there will be 3 different wires which we already know, that is live wire and neutral wire, and one more we have earth wire. There in the electricity chapter we didn't give much importance to earth wire, but we learned what is the role of earth wire under this topic. So live wire is in red color and also known as positive, right? And neutral, which is in black in color and known as negative. And when it comes live wire, neutral wire and earth wire. Now we already know what was the reason for short circuit. So what was the reason for short circuit? The situation when live wire and neutral wire come contact with each other, then short circuit will occur. That is because in live wire it is indicated by red, that is because the current will be flowing all the time. In live wire the current will be flowing all the time. Next is in the neutral wire, that is indicated with black, that is nothing but like a dead wire. The current will be not flowing all the time, but when we switch on the circuit, the current will start to flow in neutral wire. And earth wire, it is indicated by green, that is nothing but somewhat safety purpose to avoid any complications. So earth wire has its own role, so that is why we have earth wire. So earth wire is important in each and every electrical circuit. So let me tell later by what is the role of this earth wire. Now we understood we have three wires, live, neutral and earth wire. So what was the reason for short circuit? When live wire and neutral wire come contact with each other, to that particular situation we'll call it as short circuit. Then we have overloading. So now let us see the definition for all the three, and we'll see what is earth wire. Before going to the role of earth wire, just see this diagram. We have a 3-pin plug and the two are called as the lower one, which is the same size, are called as live and neutral, and the upper one, which is a little longer and thicker, that is called as earth wire. So when we apply that to any socket, the earth wire will touch us first, and when we remove, the earth wire will be the last one to come out. So why that is? Because the extra charges will be grounded with earth wire connection. So why earth wire is important means it protects us from electric shock, that is whenever the leakage of current is happening. So it will protect us from electric shock, and it will avoid the pass of electric shock when there is a leakage in circuit. That's why earth wire is important. And here we have one more important point. There will be potential difference between live wire and neutral wire. So the potential difference between live wire and neutral wire is 220 volts. In terms of frequency, we are saying 50 Hertz. And the potential difference in earth wire, it will be 0 volt. Okay. So this is one more again important. The potential difference between live and neutral wire is 220 volt, and in earth wire it is 0 volt, because there will be no flow of current here. It is used only for the protection purpose for the electric shock. Next, we know what is already short circuit and overload. You can use the same definition what we learned in the electricity. So the situation when a live wire and neutral wire comes contact, that will be accidental case. Usually they are designed to not come contact with each other. Only when something happens or in accidental cases they will come contact with each other, and then what happens, resistance will become low. When the resistance will become low, we know that current will increases, and that leads to overloading, right? And here what is overload? That is, we know that when current drawn more than the capacity of a current carrying conductor, it leads to overload. And we already explained what was the causes to occur overload in electricity chapter only. So these are the points again we should remember the domestic electric circuit. Now what are the measurements to avoid the short circuit and overload? So we know that is fuse, and one is earth wire, and another one is MCB, miniature current breaker. Same thing what we learned in the second chapter in electricity. So those things we should write here, and if they ask for the more marks, or if you want to write in detail, we can write those explanation here. So this is all about in domestic electric circuit, which is gonna delete it from this chapter. So here you should remember we'll have 3 wires in any electric circuit, and what was the role of all the wires, and you should remember color of those wires. Then the potential difference in between live wire and neutral wire, and what is the potential difference in earth wire. Next, what is the role of earth wire. Next, what is short circuit. Next, what is overload. how to protect these, that is these from overload and short circuit, that is nothing but fuse. So what is fuse and what its role? So same thing what we learned in electricity chapter, and what is MCB, what its role. And there is one more point. So in the main circuit we'll have two types of circuits, that is low power consumption devices and for higher power consumption devices. For low power consumption devices, the circuit will be made up of only 5 ampere circuits, and for higher power it will be 15 ampere circuits. And examples for low power consumption devices are fan, electric bulb, etc. And example for higher power consumption are AC, TV, washing machine, etc. We completed the second chapter from physics part, and this is magnetic effect of electric current. So we completed electricity and this chapter, and the first round test is completed, and we have second round test. For that we have this magnetic effect of electric current, the complete chapter. Prepare well and give best in your test. Thank you students. Practice and read all the points and all the sub concepts under this chapter.